So, uh, this is the story of the generator. So, as you know, I live in a tiny house, and my tiny house was built by a person who was a licensed home builder at one time in the Kansas City area. When I knew him, he was a window maker. He built my house pretty solid. I really don't have any complaints about the actual construction of the house, but it has a few little quirks. So we are plugged into what's called, I found out, shore power here. And I thought my house was 30 amp. And so I ordered a 30 amp generator. And then I found out my house was 50 amp, but I was told that I could buy a 50 to 30 adapter and the generator would work. And I was told this by somebody who lives here and has a tiny house and had this same generator and bought a 50 to 30 adapter, and the generator ran her whole house. Well, I bought the generator and we got it here and put it outside in the middle of a rainstorm. And while we were putting it outside, the power went out, and we plugged it in, and my lights went on, and all the guys scurried and went home, and I thanked them all profusely. And then I got inside, and I realized that my heat wasn't working. I have electric heat. So then the power came back on, and I thought, well, I have to have heat because we're having winter. We were at that point having winter. So I went outside and I struggled and I got the generator unplugged from my house cord, or whatever you call the electric thing that the plug is on. And then I couldn't get the cord plugged back into the shore power, so I had to go get a neighbor. And meanwhile, it's raining. And he got it plugged in, and then a day or so went by, and a friend of mine who used to live here, named Derek Campbell, the person that redid my floors, happened to be visiting, and I asked him to take a look at it, and it turned out my electric heat is 220, not 110, and so I don't really understand. I understood it for about 2 minutes while he was showing it to me in the panel, but the heater is wired on two different breakers, and because of that, because it's 220, not 110, the 30 amp generator couldn't run it. And 220 would be basically the kind of heater you might put in a traditional house, not a tiny house that's going to be plugged into shore power. So I sold that generator to one of my neighbors, and I bought a 50 amp generator, which is the generator that I just put together. Well, I didn't put it together. Somebody, couple of the guys that live here got it installed for me, got the wheels on, put the oil in, yada, yada. And then I put together the generator cover. So that's what you're about to see, the steps that I put together the generator cover. And when I get done with those little scripts, then I'll come back and draw the conclusions. Good morning and welcome to Angel's Haven. Well, that pile of pieces is a generator running cover, which is about to be assembled by yours truly. This is the first little clip in what I hope will be a generator video. It will end with a narration of the Saga. The generator is hooked up and ready to use. We don't know for sure if it will work. It works. It operates. It starts. The question is, will it run my house? More on that later. But right now, I'm going to assemble this generator cover and let you see it when I get it assembled. So before I get much further, here are the pieces, parts, as it were. Pieces, parts. That's from some movie, but I can't remember what. So this is what I'm putting together, and that is what it is supposed to, how it is supposed to look when it's together. Those are the pieces which make the frame. That is the cover itself. And this is I guess you pronounce that Igon or Egon 2023. And I believe the technical term is running generator cover. Portable generator cover while running. The biggest problem that I see so far is that, let me see if I can get this open. That's the directions. Those are the directions. There are no words. So, maybe there are words. Now you have completed the assembly of the frame. Kindly check whether the structure is stable and make sure to insert each steel tube into the deeper portion of the plastic connector. That sounds like translated from another language to me, the deeper portion of the plastic connector. But at any rate, there are no words for the assembly. There are only pictures. Now, I'm not going to turn this around to see my face because it's just that kind of day. But I am not a visual learner. I learn from reading words. I don't learn from pictures. So this is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to give it a shot. So we'll see how I do. Catch you later. So here we are, the next phase. I have managed to get parts of the frame assembled. So just keeping you in the loop as we go along. Okay, there you go. Now you have completed the assembly of the frame. Kindly check whether the structure is stable and make sure to insert each steel tube into the deeper portion of the plastic connector. So I'm just going to say this one time, and I want everybody to make note of this fact. This task is a credit to me as the mother of a boy. Okay, I don't mean to be gender stereotypical, but if I had spent my son's childhood playing with dolls and little toy kitchens instead of Legos, Tinker Toys, and Connects, I could never have done this. Now, I hope that our society has progressed to the point where that is not the case anymore. But when my son was little, the toys that people gave him and the toys to which he gravitated were Legos, Connects, and Lincoln Logs, and that kind of thing. Also, it must be said, I put together more than one child's Batman tent or Power Ranger tent in the living room, and they were all assembled like this. So there you have it, folks. The frame complete. And yes, I see that one is unconnected, but I will reconnect it and make sure that the steel tube is deeper portion of the plastic connector. So there you have it. I'm going to fix that one, which I was laughing when I connected it because it was so much like Patrick's Batman tent when he was about 3. So that's this edition of the assembly project. Okay, this is the end of my first session of assembly. If the video is too bright, it's because we have sunshine. The next step is to put the frame over the generator and zip tie it, or not zip tie it, but Velcro tie it to the frame of the generator. That sounds like something that might require me to have a second set of hands. So I am going to suspend the assemblage now and pick up later when I can have a second set of hands. But there you go. You notice I got the recalcitrant corner connected, and I have the Velcro strips on, which are supposed to be anti-gravity measures, I think. But I'm skeptical of that. So it's going well. Catch you in the next segment. So here is your first look at the actual generator. It is a Westinghouse. We got a little airplane overhead. There's the specs on it. And I'm pretty excited about it. And there's what the frame looks like in place. So I'm starting the process of Velcroing the frame to the frame of the generator. Okay, so that's what that looks like. It seems a little rinky-dink to me, but you put these little Velcro straps to strap the frame of the running cover to the frame of the generator. I don't know. That could have been a little, I don't know. That seems a little rinky-dink to me, but where is it? That's what they said to do. So that's what I did. Next up will be the fabric of the running cover, and then I'll be done. That comes next. So I'm just jumping back on here for a minute to show you where we're at. I hope this is filming. I can't quite tell. But this is the outer shell of the generator running cover. It is a little rinky-dink in my opinion, but it you can probably see it has these here's one. It has these Velcro flaps that fit under the metal frame, and then when all is said and done, the corners will be secured. So I'm working on it, and then there's a cover, of course, that goes on top. And the idea is, the reason it's called a generator running cover is theoretically you can run the generator with the cover on. So continuing to put this thing together. So here we are with the sides on now. There is a problem. I know you can see it right here, right there. I think the frame is not tightly pushed together enough. I'm going to have somebody with stronger hands than mine come over and do that. It's kind of odd because there are these metal hooks inside the the sides of the cover. So like there and there inside, there are metal hooks. And I think those are something to do with when you store the generator not in use, but I'm not really sure. So anyway, I'm going to go get the cover. I'm going to have, or the top of the cover. I'm going to have somebody come over and push the frame together more so that it's not cattywampus like that. But that's how far we are. So there it is. Somewhat unsatisfactory conclusion. I think I might come out here tomorrow with a rubber mallet and tap on that metal frame to see if I can't get it together more securely so as to have all the covers, the corners covering the frame. But there it is. I won't start it up because it's very loud, and I will do a little outro that explains the saga of the generator. There is the 15-foot cable with which it's secured to my house. I trust my neighbors, but a lot of people come by that don't live here, and they'll be up there on the road, and if they look down and saw a generator, if they were a ne'er-do-well, they might decide to come take mine. And they can't do that now because it's on a cable, cabled to my house. So there's my house. And there's the blue sky. And if you listen closely, hopefully you can hear the geese. So I'm going to do a little explanatory outro when I get in the house. But there you have it. Westinghouse 9700 watt 50 amp generator. $1,000. Protected by $120 running generator cover plugged into, or it would be plugged into my house, which is 50 amp, which is plugged into the shore pole right now. It's been quite a saga, and I won't be completely happy until I get the frame together a little better so that it's covered all the way, but it's better than what I had, which was not working. Anyway, generator part 2. So now that you've seen all that, I hope you're more enlightened about tiny living. I feel as though I might do better if I just had a wood-burning stove. Although, truth told, when I did have a wood-burning stove, I caused a fire and burned the front of my hair, which is why I have little wispy things, and that was 30 years ago. So, maybe not. But at any rate, thanks for spending 15 or 20 minutes of my tiny life with me, and I will see you next time.